Hello students, this is your science teacher Miss Unica Amanat. Hope you all are fine. Today we'll start unit number 1, heating and cooling, from page number 2 to 3. Students, do you know that why a spark from this fire will not hurt us as much as a hot cup of tea? Do you have any idea? It's all because of heat. It's all because of temperature. So let's discuss about temperature and heat. Students, heat is a flow or transfer of energy due to temperature differences. So that is why a spark from a firework may be very hot, but it will not hurt very much because it does not contain much heat energy. However, even though a cup of hot tea may not be very hot, but it can still burn the tongue because it contains a lot of heat energy. If you touch something hot and your senses immediately tell you to pull your hand away, hotness is about the amount of energy an object has. So heat is a flow or transfer of energy due to temperature differences. Students, temperature depends on particle movement. As I taught you in class 6, that all matter is made up of atoms that are moving. Even solid objects have atoms that are vibrating. The motion from the atoms gives the object energy. Here you can see solid particles are closely packed, so they vibrate on their fixed position. Liquid particles like water, tea and coffee, they can flow from one place to another place. And particles of gas can move freely. And particles of plasma can move incredibly fast and freely. As you already know that solid, liquids and gases are made up of tiny particles, as I told you now, the more the energy particles have, the more they move about. Students, how can we measure temperature? The measure of the average kinetic energy of all the particles in the object, the atom's mass and speed determines the temperature of the object. Temperature is measured in units called degrees, Fahrenheit and Celsius. Water freezes at 32 Fahrenheit and boils at 212 Fahrenheit. And if we talk about Celsius, so water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade and boils at 100 degrees centigrades. As I told you that solids, liquids and gases are made up of tiny particles, and these particles are moving about all the time. The more energy the particles have, the more they move about. The opposite is also true. As they lose energy, they move about less. So this change in energy is what heat is. So how does a thermometer work? The thermometer can measure temperature because the substance of the liquid inside always expands or contracts. When does it expand? The thermometer can measure temperature because the substance of the liquid inside always expands or contracts by increases or decreases a certain amount of temperature. That is why bridges are built with short segments with small breaks to allow for expansion. All gases, liquids and most solids expand when their temperature increases. So students, energy flows from warmer to cooler object. And heat is the flow or transfer of energy from an object at a higher temperature to an object at a lower temperature. And what is thermal energy? Therm means heat, and energy is moving ability. Total random kinetic energy of particles in an object is known as thermal energy. So, heat is measured by the unit of calorie and joules or kilojoules, as I told you already. Now, what is absolute zero? As I told you that as a solid cools when the movement of particles is stopped. So, as a solid cools, heat energy is removed. It means that heat energy is removed here in these particles. So, the particles will move more and more slowly until they stop moving altogether. The temperature at which the particles stop moving is called absolute zero. Students, here this is absolute zero. Okay, so the particles will move more and more slowly until they stop moving altogether. The temperature at which the particles stop moving is called absolute zero. And absolute zero is the temperature at which a material has no heat energy. I hope you have understood this lecture. If you have any question, you can ask me on WhatsApp. And in next lesson, we'll solve question answer of this exercise. Take care.